perverse worldview than these two tweets from London Mayor Sadiq Khan. Well, first is this tweet from June 3rd of last year. The brutal killing of George Floyd has rightly ignited fury around the world. I stand in solidarity with the black people experiencing systemic racism. Now, compare that to Khan's reaction this week to the murder of the Member of Parliament, Sir David Amess. I am deeply, deeply saddened by the tragic news that Sir David has passed away. It is just awful. Okay, so Floyd's death in police custody was a brutal killing, but David Amess being stabbed to death by a suspected Islamic terrorist was just his passing away. Here with me now is Nigel Farage, former Brexit Party leader. Nigel, this is obscene, but I guess not at all surprising.
No, it's a complete double standard, isn't it? I mean, passed away. Sir David has passed away as if it was a 98-year-old that had, World War II veteran that had fallen asleep and not woken up the next morning. It's a complete refusal to call it out as it is. This was a brutal, horrible, ugly murder committed by a man who's being held as a suspect, who was reported to the authorities 7 years ago, sent on a government de-radicalisation programme, and who stabbed Sir David 17 times.
Nigel, it's so disturbing on so many levels. And another terrifying byproduct of Sir Amess's murder is what the politicians are using it for. Well, kind of as cover. Watch.
We will have criminal sanctions with tough sentences for those who are responsible for allowing this foul content to permeate the internet.
The damage caused by harmful content online is worse than ever.
The online safety bill is of huge importance to, it's one of the most important tools in our armoury.
Nigel, this is something, of course, we see here in America where leftists are pushing, defining, and then punishing anything they deem to be harmful content. What's happening here?
Yeah, I mean, look, since this murder last week, everyone's saying we must, control the internet and limit what people say. But it's all about a kinder, gentler, more consensual politics. That's what they're putting this man's death down to. It's got nothing to do with that. Yes, we all know there are some things on the internet that ought not to be there. But this is not being caused because people have different political opinions. It's not being caused because of hate speech. It's being caused by a modern cancer, which is radical Islamic terrorism. And my feeling is most members of parliament firstly refuse to call it out because they fear being called racist. And secondly, they're fearful of telling the truth unless they themselves become a target. So we really are burying our head in the sand about the real harm that's going on here. And the danger is all we do is limit free speech and take anybody that dares to talk about immigration and border controls, try and slap them down, try and get them banned on social media. It's actually very dangerous indeed.
Well, China's doing that. I mean, we know Russia has done that. Free speech doesn't really exist in either country. And just so people understand what's going on, because there's parallels to the United States, the UK is going to fast-track this internet speech regulation bill. And here's the language. Under the draft of the bill, social media companies, search engines, will be required to remove harmful content that has a significant adverse psychological impact on an adult of ordinary sensibilities. Okay, first of all, what is an adult of ordinary sensibilities wouldn't call the murder of Sir David Amess a passing away? Okay, so what's the subjective measure here? It's certainly not objective, even if it were, permissible.
Well, I think their centre ground is what you and I would both call the liberal left, and that anybody that has a vaguely conservative view is somehow evil, hateful, nasty, and should be clamped down upon. And that's where we're going with all of this. I mean, come on. After all, the 45th president of the USA is still banned from Twitter, whereas the Taliban leadership use the platform every single day. So we really do have to stand up hard and fight for free speech. And I'm also hoping that we get different social media platforms emerge over the coming months and years. Otherwise, free speech is